Hello guys, so let's quickly talk about the Power BI architecture. So if you see the screen, everything is there in front of you. So let's talk about the quick things here. Let us understand how it is actually work, because see, I have seen in my experience that a lot of people get confused at the very first time when they get into this technology, because it has several components and how they are connected very much important to understand, and this diagram pretty much explain the same. So now you can see how it is happening, right? The very first thing is that hundreds of data sources that can actually connect, that is a lot of data sources directly connected to Power BI services, right? So before that, I'd like to suggest keep it simply. So I want you to tell you one thing, that there are two major components of Power BI. So one is Power BI desktop application, and another one is Power BI services, which is a cloud-based program and which is there at the cloud. Okay, so it can use anyone and access it from the anywhere. So but the desktop application, you need to be installed on the system or on the local machine. So then and then only that can this Power BI desktop application can be used. So on the Power BI desktop, we actually worked on it. So it actually built our reports and dashboards. So whatever the operations we need to do, ETL operations and creations and the visualization of the dashboard, that's been happen, and that needs to be created on this Power BI desktop. So once you create the report, you need to publish it. That means, so you need to publish it. So it is on cloud. So why you need to do that? Because you need to share it to your stakeholder or the customer, the concerned person or the consumer of the report. So whom sure you gonna share that report, that needs to be published. So once you publish this reports on the Power BI, so that the people who have an access, so to the same, they can access the report on the same. That means if the your customer is here or the consumer is here, he has access, he can simply access to your Power BI services and he can see the report. So whatever you published on this Power BI services. On other hand, we can directly connect the Power BI services. That means, so we directly connect the data. That means we have a lot of data sources here. We directly connect these data sources to our Power BI services. That means a cloud-based service, by ignoring this Power BI desktop, right? So but we have some lags into it, because if you connect directly these data sources to the Power BI service, you won't be able to perform in-depth calculation, because it won't support the DAX function, right? So if you need to do the certain operations, you need the DAX function, right? So it is a lag. So once the report is published on Power BI service, it can be accessible through the any device. That means you can see these reports on mobile phone or the tablet or the computer or the laptop, on the anything, right? So now what is Power BI gateways? So this is a very important thing. So now actually we're going to see all this stuff in detail, but I am just giving you glimpse of these things. Okay, so now what is a Power BI gateway? So this is something which is used for scheduled refresh. Okay, what is mean by scheduled refresh? Consider that you created a dashboards over here on the desktop and you publish it on the Power BI services, and your customer is accessing it through the Power BI services. Now eventually your source is getting a new data at your source point, and again you need to add this data in the dashboard, and again you need to publish it, and then the customer will able to see. It's a time consuming as well as it's a manual interventions. To avoid these things, this Power BI gateways gives you the support. That means whenever the new data comes to the source, that will automatically refresh at scheduled time. So whatever the scheduled time you have given to your gateways, that will be automatically refreshed and it will be added to your reports. So manual intervention will be less, as well as time consumption will be less over there. Okay, so that's it about the Power BI architecture. It's a very simple and quite simple method to understand, because see, sources, desktop, cloud services, the gateways, and the access. So simple, right?